Hey everyone, welcome back to Small Batch Devs. My name is Austin.
And I'm Elliot. Today we're going to be talking about an important Firebase feature known as cloud storage.
We will then of course look at a practical coding example in our Angular blog application. Without any further ado, let's get started. So what is Firebase Cloud Storage?
So cloud storage is one of Firebase's many services, and it allows you to upload content from your application and host it on Firebase's servers. So you can upload images, PDFs, video files, really any uploadable file you can put up in cloud storage.
Firebase also provides the ability for you to write your own security definition rules so that you can secure each storage path based on your rules. So just disallowing and allowing certain users or other applications into your storage paths.
So why would you use something like cloud storage?
We would want to use cloud storage whenever we have a scenario in which a user needs to upload or save a file in order to be able to retrieve it by either themselves at a later time or any other user that's using the application.
Another really good use case for cloud storage is a content management system. And this is when you have your own website and you want dynamic images or video files to maybe swap out on a daily basis on your application. You can use cloud storage to host those files. So now let's move on to the installation phase, and we're going to be using AngularFire so that it makes our lives easier when we're dealing with Angular observables and Firebase services. So you can use this code to npm install Firebase Cloud Storage. And there are also a lot of other ways to install the Firebase SDK that you're welcome to use as well.
In order to download files from cloud storage, we also need to add a library called FileSaver. There are probably other libraries out there that serve the same purpose, but we use FileSaver. And to install that, you can just look at the command right here using npm, and that will install the library for you.
So get installing. So to get the download feature working in the code section that's coming up, we first need to address a CORS issue with our Firebase project. And the setup for that is very straightforward. We're going to walk you through it right now. So what you're going to want to do is navigate to your Google Cloud Console and sign in with the ID that you used to create your Firebase project. Now, once you're in the Google console, you're going to click this Activate Cloud Shell Terminal button in the top right of your screen. And that's going to pop up this terminal at the bottom of the screen. The next step is to click the Open Editor button, as we're going to need to create a local file. So whenever your editor opens up, just click File, New File, and we're going to name it cors.json. And once you have that file ready to go, you're just going to add some basic CORS rules that your Firebase project will adhere to once we set these in the following steps. Okay, we've now copied over the text into our cors.json file, and we're setting two origins to allow the retrieval of documents from our cloud storage, and that's the local host for local development, as well as our production environment from our smallbatchdevs.com. So once you're done with this, just go ahead and save that file, and then we're going to open the terminal again. The last step to get your CORS set up is to run this gsutil command in your cloud terminal. And what this is going to do is it's going to set those CORS rules that we just wrote in the JSON file for this specific project that you put in your terminal. And the project name is simply up here in the top left. This little drop down will have your project name. Just go ahead and type that in before appspot.com and press enter, and you'll be good to go. All right, and that's it for the cloud console portion of this tutorial. I'm just gonna cut that part out.
So now let's look at the code for our cloud storage example. The first thing we're going to look at is our service file. We have a storage service that we created that will handle all our cloud storage calls. So the first function we have is our upload image function, which takes a file and returns a promise. We're then defining a path that we're going to be saving our files in, and you'll see this later as well in the Google Cloud Console. And we're using the storage reference that we have in our constructor for our dependency injection of the AngularFire storage to call the upload method, and then we're also passing in that path and the file. We then use the then function for when the promise is actually returned, and all we do with that is then go on and call this.getStorage metadata and pass in the path, and we'll show what that does next. So all the getStorage metadata function does is actually just get metadata for the path that we provide it, but we needed to do it after the file was uploaded, or else there will be nothing there. There will be no metadata there. So once again, we're using our AngularFire storage reference and passing in that storage path and just calling get metadata. Of course, then we're returning it into a promise and just creating a console log on that.
So there's going to be quite a few times where you just want a URL for the file in cloud storage so that you can put it in an image tag or download it for the user or put it in an iframe to display PDFs. And so the function you see on your screen now, getDownloadURL, will help you with exactly that. So when you upload a file to cloud storage, Firebase will generate a public URL for your files. And you can control a little bit who can see which files with your rules in cloud storage, but for this example, we just have it all set to public, and this will give you the download URL. The next function in our cloud storage service is this download file function. And what this allows you to do is actually take a download URL that you got from the previous function we showed and bring that file from cloud storage to the user's local machine. And so we're going to start off by using another custom function called download blob from URL. And what this does, which we'll show later, is it just simply takes in a URL and just downloads that data from cloud storage. Next, we're going to use our file saver npm package that we installed earlier and use one of its inner methods called save as. And this just pulls up the familiar save as dialog box that you see anytime you download a file on your computer. Okay, and the last function that we have in our storage service is, of course, this private download blob from URL. And this is going to be used when you're downloading a file to a user's local machine. It basically just uses an XML HTTP request to hit the URL that you provide it, downloads the file contents as a JavaScript blob, and then we pass that blob back, and we use the save as function from our file saver npm package to download it to the user's machine.
The next thing is the upload image function, which you can see is passed in an event from the HTML. We then use that event to actually get the file that we are trying to upload from the HTML into our TypeScript. We can then see that we call our storage service that we just created, and we call the upload image function in that service and pass in the file we want to upload. Once that is done, we then will be able to pull out the file extension which we want to save off, and we actually end up calling the get download URL, which we'll also want to save off, and that is also in our storage service that we just looked at. Next, we have the download image function, which is also triggered from a button in our HTML, and all this does is we get our URL, we get the file name, and then we just call our download file function in our storage service.
Pretty straightforward. So to quickly cover the HTML that we're creating here, we just added a few divs. The first is an upload input, which will call our upload image function that we just went over. And this $sign event that we're passing into it is going to have a sub property where we can get that file object that we're trying to upload. The next div is a download button, and this is only going to show up if we have an image URL once the file has been uploaded to cloud storage. And lastly, we have an image tag that is just simply going to show the image that we uploaded, which just is a good use case for that image URL that we talked about earlier.
So before we jump into the demo, there's a couple quick things we need to take care of in order for this to work. The first being adding the AngularFire storage module to our app module. So you can see we just have this import right here, and of course there'll be an actual import at the top where we're actually importing the module.
Nice, taken care of. The second quick piece of info that we need to add to our app is a route for us to actually get to this demo, and that's going to be the storage example route that you can see here. It's just pointing to our storage example component, and let's jump into the demo.
So we're finally ready to demo what we accomplished today. We're here on our storage example route, as we mentioned in the previous step, and we're just going to hit browse and try to upload an image. You can see that we have a nice whiskey picture that we want to upload. So
Beautiful picture.
We're going to upload that. And a bunch of stuff happened, as you can see. We now have a download file and an actual picture that you can see in the HTML. And we have some information over here. So we have the in-get storage metadata console log, and you can also see the actual metadata that we pulled down. There isn't a ton of really important information that we need right now here, but if you were wanting to use some of this metadata, like the time created or the updated, we have the full path here. There is some useful information, we just don't need it right now. The next thing we're going to do is try to download our file. So if we hit download file, you'll see we get the typical download model, something
Save
GUI
dialog.
Save dialog that pops up on Windows. Yeah. But yeah, it's pretty simple. We can hit save file, and it will start saving our file as we'd expect. And that is pretty much all there is to this demo.
It's pretty handy if you want to drop some image manipulation in your application, so go get started with cloud storage.
Yeah, and manipulate images or audio or video. Anyways, so today we talked about Firebase's cloud storage functionality and why you should use it. We also taught you how to install the AngularFire module and also the file saver module.
We also went over a pretty cool demo where we showed you the functionality of that code, where we uploaded a file, downloaded a file, and displayed an image of that file on the HTML of our web application. So now that you have all this great knowledge, go ahead and build some crazy cool apps with Firebase Cloud Storage.
Thanks for watching, everyone. Don't forget to like the video, subscribe to the channel, hit that notification bell, and we'll see you next time. Peace.
Makes me want some whiskey.
Yeah, I always want whiskey.
Okay. All right, bye.
Later.